residents to find out if these new rules are even enough to make a difference.
David and Anita Reeves live next to a short-term rental.
This is a guy standing on the front porch.
Do you think he's looking for, how to get in?
Key.
Looking for a key.
The Reeves are concerned about the next time an STR guest tries to enter their home, even if it's an honest mistake.
We have block parties. I mean, people know each other. You know what cars belong. You know what people belong. And you have all these strangers, and it's not safe.
This is Anita and David's house.
While the Reeves are on vacation in Rockport, neighbor Irene shows me their home where they've had to put up a line of cones.
To try to keep people from parking in their driveways.
Irene lives down the street, and her concerns are mainly the lines of cars that result from having multiple guests staying on the property, which hosts up to 16, according to its Airbnb listing.
So if that many people show up, this whole cul-de-sac is full of cars.
Mesquite has amended its STR ordinance to require annual licensing and inspections, limiting the number of overnight guests and parking, prohibiting commercial events, and requiring a local agent to address any issues within 45 minutes.
And having that contact information helps.
City Manager Cliff Kahele says they've had 2 or 3 STRs that have become problem houses, and City Council nipped this issue in the bud quickly.
Police were called several times to a couple of addresses, and that's how we shaped some of the regulations to address those specific problems.
Many city governments are trying to find regulations that work for their respective cities now that STRs have been solidified as a hotel alternative. Mesquite residents are grateful for what some are calling baby step regulations.
If we can regulate it to a greater degree, that would certainly be helpful.
You know, it's interesting that they took some action, but it's not enough, and it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna improve anything.
And Stacey Riker joins us now from North Texas to talk more about this issue. Stacey, good morning to you. I know a lot of people, a lot of our viewers, probably wondering, could this happen in my neighborhood where I live? Right, Alex. Well, the short answer is it depends, right? So here in Mesquite, we're outside of City Hall. They actually put in those stronger regulations that you saw in my story, but the neighboring city of Dallas, they've yet to put anything in place on an STR ordinance. So the question, could this happen in my neighborhood? That depends on where you live, what kind of ordinances are already in place with that city, and what kind of zoning your particular neighborhood has. So single family home neighborhoods, they may or may not allow STRs. That's depending on how the city has regulated them. Now, I say city because Texas actually leaves STR rental oversight to the local governments. That means what regulations you have are created by those local municipalities. So an example, in Arlington, that's between Dallas and Fort Worth, there's actually a ban on all STRs outside of the area surrounding the entertainment district. That's, you know, Cowboys, where the Cowboys play, that's AT&T Stadium, Globe Life Park, where the Texas Rangers play, and of course, Six Flags Amusement Park. But know this, not every city has clear cut and dry entertainment districts like in Dallas, so that ban won't work in that city for sure.
Hey, Stacey, you talk about the big venues and event spaces in those areas, but is this becoming a problem all over Dallas or the state of Texas for that matter?
Right, so this has been an issue in the city of Dallas for years. They've tried to get task forces to try and put recommendations for city staff to implement these regulations. The problem is really just striking a balance between those property owners who run Airbnbs or Verbos and those neighborhoods. I'm gonna send it back to y'all in the studio. All right, Stacey, thanks so much. Yeah, certainly a lot of back and forth, and with summer travel season coming up, I guess remains to be seen, depending on where you live, how an Airbnb or short-term rental will operate.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't annoy you too much. Anyway, we got a lot more after this quick break. We'll be right back.